Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit Source and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. It is spring in the Northern Hemisphere, and we have a lot going on. Welcome, Alicia. Welcome, Kiki. So let's just jump in because there's so much to cover. So, we begin, April is a 4 month, so we begin all month long. It's youthful folly, try again. It's about innocence and, this innocence and rebirth and just not letting the past prevent us from moving forward. So try again. It's to the receptive, the divine feminine, to reflect. It's a 9-year, all a year long, so small restraints, surrender, and becomes a 15. It's about authenticity and humility, which brings about balance. And then 6, conflict. Let go. Let go of the conflict. So as we move through the eclipse energies, the equinox energies, Neptune just shifting for the first time in 164 years into Aries. Saturn is right on its heels. It's coming up soon where it will be in Aries. There's a lot going on. So let's look at the astrological chart first. This is for Neptune enters Aries. It entered Aries on the 30th, the day after the new moon solar eclipse. And so here, look at this, just this pile up, this stellium of planets, both in Pisces and Aries. It's at the top of the chart. You have Saturn on the top right at 24 degrees Pisces, right conjunct the North Node, conjunct Venus retrograde, conjunct Mercury retrograde, and the midheaven. And then as we move into Aries, there's Neptune at 0 degrees. It's conjunct the vertex at 0 degrees. The sun is at 10 degrees. Chiron, the wounded healer, is at 22 degrees, and the moon is at 24 degrees. So, and note in the middle, so there's this blue triangle. It's known as a mini grand trine. At the apex, at the point at the top is Uranus. To the right is Saturn, North Node, Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde. On the opposite side is Mars and the lot of fortune. So here they are sextiling, trining, and Mars is going to add a lot of fire to these because there's the Saturn Uranus element. It is um, a sextile. Got to get my words in. And so Uranus or Mars and the lot of fortune, they're going to add fire and auspiciousness to this Saturn sextile Uranus aspect that's going to be going on for about 10 months into early January 2026. I'm just going to read something. This is from Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. This week on April 4th, so 4-4, we are working with the first of 3 exact Saturn-Uranus sextiles, a very favorable aspect that is in effect now through January 2026. With this sextile, 2 very different planetary energies are working together in harmony, because trines and sextiles are harmonious aspects in astrology. Saturn is realistic, responsible, it's the great teacher, conservative, and goal-oriented. It supports slow yet steady progress, usually building on what has worked in the past. The ringed planet strives for stability, order, commitment, and consistency. As the planet of crystallization, Saturn's qualities include patience, self-discipline, commitment, and wisdom. In contrast, Uranus is restless and futuristic and invites rapid and sometimes surprising changes. Uranus is, of course, the higher mind, the source mind, God mind, and it's also expect the unexpected. The sideways spinning planet is known for enhancing intuition and insights, innovations and technologies, social justice and equality. Keep this in mind with our overarching theme, Neptune rising, a noble life, a shocking revelation. Because again, the sideways spinning planet, Uranus, is known for enhancing intuition and insights, listening to your soul source connection, going as guided, innovations and technologies, moving beyond where we've been. It's like breaking out of the mold, crossing the threshold, and social justice and equality. So, as the planet of liberation, Uranus supports authenticity, freedom, freedom from restriction, and a process of individuation. Its qualities include originality, genius, and an openness to new ideas. It's authenticity. As this mismatched duo collaborates as friends over the next 10 months, they assist us in being open to the new while also maintaining a sense of stability. And since Uranus is the planet of higher consciousness and Saturn rules the process of manifestation, our understanding of, quote, reality will undergo gradual updates even as more of our higher mind qualities come online. This is number 3 from the unseen. They said major activations brought online. That means both internally, we are an operating system. Each human being is an operating system. So major activations, quote, brought online. And there was this awareness of like Pentecost and, Pentecost and baptism by fire. Pentecost is about the Holy Spirit descending upon those at Pentecost 2,000 plus years ago and awakening them, bringing on, they spoke in tongues and so forth. They were literally illumined or brought online with the Holy Spirit. So this is what the unseen is talking about. It's number 3. It's the Trinity. It's that Mazda rotary engine where everything becomes aligned. So ego, mind, personality, heart, soul source connection integrates. And it's being spoken of like a new wave of consciousness. So here Pam Youngins with North Point Journal is speaking about Uranus is the planet of higher consciousness. Saturn rules the process of manifestation. Our understanding of reality, air quotes, will undergo gradual updates even as more of our higher mind qualities come online. Here, the unseen is speaking about major activations brought online. And activations, the action or process of making something active or operative. So this is, again, things that have been dormant within us, things that have been, think of it in terms of online, everyone, connected the internet and so forth. So major activations brought online. There can be revelations, there can be things brought into the open, brought online, air quotes, that are activating us, that are advancing us, that are futuristic. This is where we're headed because Neptune rising, let's go to our main theme. I love this image. So here's the god Neptune, which is i.e. Poseidon, so depending whether it's Roman or Greek, but it's Neptune rising, a noble life, a shocking revelation. Neptune rising, when we think of this in terms of astrology, in astrology, Neptune rising or having Neptune in the ascendant, in the first house in the ascendant, suggests a person is open, receptive, and deeply intuitive. You're seeing this common theme about intuition. So deeply intuitive, with a tendency towards idealism and a strong connection to the spiritual realm, soul source connection. We have Neptune is associated with intuition, dreams, and the subconscious. So a Neptune rising person is likely to have a strong spiritual side and be highly attuned to subtle energies, idealistic and compassionate, dreamy and imaginative. So this is when Neptune is literally rising in your astrological chart, but it's also embodying what the energies. So in ancient Greek, we have the world was split up when these 3 brothers overtook their father. We had Zeus is the main god, over, god of the skies and thunder and the thunderbolt. Hades, Pluto, the underworld. And Poseidon is the seas, water, earthquakes, horses. And so, but in essence, the waters, both the seas, the waters, and so forth. This is how they, quote unquote, divide it up, if you will. Well, Neptune rising. And we've talked about in previous shows how air over water, and it was seas, like 2C and C, SEA. So there's going to be this higher, they're saying to me in the moment, this higher velocity, this higher octave that permeates, that spills forth, and how it manifests itself, whether it's within us, it will be both within us, over the internet, airwaves, but air over water, this Neptune rising, and a noble life, because the ideals, remember, Neptune represents the highest ideals. It can also represent illusion and delusion. But in its highest octave, it represents everything that's ideal, everything that we want and strive for. And so this is what we're looking for and looking to with Neptune rising, a noble life, and then a shocking revelation. Well, a shocking revelation. This is both, it's our key word. So let me just go to that. It's our key word. And revelation. A surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. An act of revealing or communicating divine truth. The divine or supernatural disclosure to humans of something related to human existence or the world. Something that is revealed by God to humans. The act of making something known that was secret, or a fact that is made known. This also coincided with when we began the year, and I'm just flipping over my notes here, because this instantly triggered, so this revelation, a shocking revelation. And the unseen said from this week, for this week's energies, which arc out, they said, are you ready for what's coming? And then there was a pause, like ... So are you ready for what's coming, ... next? And it was both a question mark and an exclamation point. So it's both a question and a statement. And then shockwaves. I heard the word shockwaves. Welcome, Olivia. And shockwaves, a sudden wave of increased pressure. So they're talking about a higher velocity, a higher octave. Are you ready for what's coming next? Revelation. And it went back to the 1118 show from January of this year. And it's number 5, which denotes changes. And they said, much unfolding for all in the coming years. A beautiful, most ancient tapestry is unfurled for all to see for the very first time. And unfurled, make or become spread out from a rolled or folded state, especially to be open to the wind over water. What it depicts will be shocking in the most beautiful of ways. So, welcome, Heather. So we have this revelation, this Neptune rising, a noble life. So these higher ideals, higher octaves rising, a shocking revelation, something disclosed to humanity. This bringing online, major activations brought online, and the action or process of making something active or operative. So it's in essence, be ready. It's be open, be ready, be mindful of where you are in this planetary pile-up process, and pile up in a good way. This pile-up process, this advance of humanity. Because again, on the world stage, it looks like we are going, 100 years backwards, and all of this chaos and calamity and confusion and just, mess. But remember, the unseen is showing us that image of the dragon, that winged fire-breathing dragon, an old dragon. Its entire body and wings and everything are locked down. They're chained to the earth. Boom. The only thing that's moving is the head and the neck. And then there's just this moment, and it's very decisive. And it's like the guilt. It's like one fell swoop, and the neck, the head of the dragon is excised. It's off. It's done. It's gone. While that's dramatic, can be traumatic, the point that the unseen is showing us is that era, that age, that mindset, that operating system, that way of life is over. It's like, in one fell, it's just done. And so it's to be ready, Neptune rising, for this noble life. And a shocking revelation, it was really like it's going to reverberate out, because it wasn't just one. Yes, it's like perhaps one revelation, one octave, one release, one shockwave. But remember, with shockwaves, there's the initial, or if you've ever been in an earthquake, California, I've been in many. There's the initial, the jolt, or the initial shock, the initial earthquake, and then it can ripple out, and it can ripple out for days and weeks and months. The point is that it's going to ripple out. So let's move to the astrological influences. And so again, keep in mind, Neptune just moved into Aries. Saturn is following. There's the sextile with Uranus and Saturn. All of these energies playing out. And we still have, the full moon, total lunar eclipse, because we're still in the eclipse energies. We had the vernal equinox. We had the new moon solar eclipse. We have Neptune that just entered Aries. We have Venus retrograde, conjunct the North Node, and then we have followed by Mercury retrograde, conjunct the North Node. North Node is where humanity is going. And by the way, with with Venus and Mercury, they're retrograde. So they're moving backwards into the very final degrees of Pisces. Pisces ends the astrological year. Aries begins it. So we're looking at this literally in Pisces, Piscean, this end, and so Mercury and Venus are doing this dance. They're retrograding. All the way, they crossed Neptune. They're crossing the North Node. They're right up to Saturn. So again, let's look at this chart again so you can see what I'm talking about. And then they're going to go forward again. So they're going back over these elements, these degrees, and then they move forward. Mercury goes direct on the 7th. Venus goes direct on the 12th, 13th. So they're going to do this one more time. So it's like going back to finish up business, to clean up. It's like leave no man behind, leave no one behind. They're giving us all the opportunity to make choices, to wake up, because the astrological influences of all of this energy, of all of this movement, is finality and irreversible ending. So we've got the dragon locked down. At some point, the head gets lopped off. So finality and irreversible ending. And that's a great thing. It's a good thing. Because again, Piscean, patriarchal, this era, we've been there and done it. It's 2,000 plus years. We've done it. And we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't demonize the divine masculine or the shadow of the divine masculine, because Pluto has brought all of this up into the light for us to see. Now Neptune rising, Neptune takes over. Neptune leads the way, alters the path, the destiny, the arc of destiny of where we're going. And then Saturn comes right in behind. Yes, I'm in alignment with you. And there's Uranus, higher octave, higher mind, saying, "Oh, we're gonna for the next 10 months, we're gonna get it right. We're gonna move in tandem." Mars is going to make that final aspect to Pluto again. It's the third time. It started at the beginning of November 2024, this Pluto-Mars opposition. It happened again at the end of the year, and it's going to happen again at the end of April. So again, this is all about forward movement. And I just kind of got this whoosh of like fear, meaning I can sense or feel the trepidation, the fear. There's nothing, as John F. Kennedy said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. It's just what we're fearing is the release of the old and the anticipation of the unknown, what's before us. But don't get caught up in the illusion of fear. Do not allow fear to immobilize you. Allow it to be the catalyst that propels you forward. Because we all signed up for this. We are all here. We're all ready. You gotta see me smiling. I'm like, let's go. Let's do this thing. Because Neptune rising, and there's also, you can't make this up if you tried. I mean, there's a movie from 2007, literally named Neptune Rising. And in the movie, it's about a mob boss who wants to control an entire city. And yet three, quote, vigilante cops stand and fight for a town too scared to fight for itself. Well, you can make the correlations, perhaps an individual wanting to control the world, but there are vigilante individuals, people, vigilante, air quotes. There are those that will stand and fight for all those too scared to do it for themselves. Because the arc of destiny moves forward. It does not. Have you ever seen Father Time, Saturn, God, any take the clock and go, "Oh, you know what? We didn't get that all right, so let's and move the clock backwards?" No, of course not. Time moves onward, forward. We are wired, we're programmed, major activations brought online, a wave of new consciousness to move us forward so that we rise, we ascend. That's what we've come to do. And to usher it, have a heaven on earth, a divine experience in a human body. That is what earth is, heaven on earth. That's what we're doing here. And it's number 4 from the unseen. They said it's the word arise. A colleague and I, we were discussing Neptune rising, arising Neptune, the word arise, and they said arise, exclamation point. And then I heard emerge, become apparent, begin to occur or exist. These are the definitions of arise. And what they said was arise, our divine godlike nature. Our divine godlike nature has always been present, is present. But look what we've done with it under the Piscean patriarchal era. We have struggled to achieve the ideal, this heaven on earth, this divine godlike nature. But now it's Aquarian, matriarchal era, the golden age, the golden era, where the two, divine masculine, divine feminine, harmonize, come together. Unity, yin yang, unity, oneness, in balance. And we are all being called to arise, emerge, become apparent, begin to occur or exist in our divine, godlike nature. That's a Neptune rising, a noble life, a shocking revelation, because when it all comes online, internally, online, in the internet, in our biosphere, And you know how things can go viral in a nanosecond? Well, this is what they're talking about. This is what the astrological energies, Pam Youngins at North Point Journal, she's talking about with this, with the Uranus and Saturn sextile. So it's all of this occurring for us. It's not happening to us, it's happening for us. Our mantra, I succeed in overcoming, dot, dot, dot. You get to fill in the blank. I succeed in overcoming my fears. I succeed in overcoming my, my self-doubt. I succeed in overcoming all that ails me. Whatever it may be, fill in the blank. I succeed in overcoming lack. Print this out. It'll be on the Facebook Dearjames thread for the show. I succeed in overcoming. And just keep repeating it. Whatever word comes to you, keep repeating it, because it's a way that you can literally practice. It's the Lady Jacqueline in my head. You know, what's bringing it down to earth and landing it, sticking the landing. What is it that I am overcoming? I succeed in overcoming, and let whatever those words are, you fill in the blank until you feel them shift, until you feel that you've released it. Let's go to, we're going to go to Astrology by Lauren, and she is speaking about the solar eclipse and Neptune enters Aries. She begins with a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. See, it's like in the morning, at that stroke of midnight. Here we are, like, are you ready for what's coming next? With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. Astrology by Lauren. She says, solar eclipses occur at the new moon, which is about new beginnings. So this was the partial solar eclipse on the Aries new moon that just occurred on the 29th of March. All the more so in the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. And then again, even more so because this eclipse is widely conjunct the north node of the moon at the end of Pisces. The nodes are the points at which the moon's path and the sun's path intersect, allowing eclipses to occur. North node eclipses are almost always about new beginnings and or opening opportunities that will allow us to get back in tune with our life's path and destiny. Our life path and destiny is about our divine godlike nature, and to arise, to align with it, totally, completely, fully. No longer separate, divided from it, unified. So this is about bringing us back into this life path and destiny. When we are already moving in the correct direction, we might not notice all that much happening in our lives, because when we're already in alignment with it, we're already doing the works. It's like you're in the flow. You don't see, and you know, knock on wood, that's a good thing. Because when you're not in alignment, that's when you're just, you know, it's the cosmic 2x4, and they're just knocking the crud out of you to get you into alignment, to get you back on the path. So in essence, there may be subtleties, or you may, because when you're already doing the works and you're already in alignment, it's gonna be more subtle. But that doesn't mean nothing's occurring, as you'll see here in a minute. But occasionally, when these eclipses occur, it can feel like a reboot. Or perhaps more magically, this is when the fates, as it were, can manipulate things manipulate, control, do their job. They're, you know, because we're in reciprocity with the unseen. So here they can do their things behind the scenes to make sure that everyone is in their designated positions. Our soul source connection, our true north, is always pulling us true north. It can never do anything but true north. And so here it is, whether it's the fates, whether it's the team from the unseen that's on the other side, our loved ones that have already crossed over, whomever it may be, this team, the fates, they're all pulling us true north. so that we are where we are meant to be in our designated positions. And this may be so even when the world and our lives appear to be rife with chaos and uncertainty. See, it appears as though we're going backwards. It appears that, darkness and chaos and shadow and oppression and suppression are winning. It's an illusion. It's the dragon that's been held down. It's thrashing and wailing with its last breath and ability before it gets its head lopped off. That's what we're talking about. The sun is also the source of our very life force, and when it is eclipsed, even partially, and remember, the moon takes a bite out of the sun, and this bite out of crime from last week's show, it could feel either like a short circuit or a major reboot. Notice that Astrology by Lauren, her wording, this short circuit, major reboot, is exactly number 3 from the unseen. Major activations brought online. Our systems are upgraded. Our internet, things come about, get revealed, revelation. This is why these eclipse periods can feel either very energetically high or completely exhausting and draining, because you're either in the flow or you're not. Solar eclipses often bring turning points in our lives associated with great beginnings and endings. This is that finality, an irreversible ending, which of course denotes beginnings. The orchestrations occurring behind the scenes can be felt for weeks before, and the unfolding of the effects of the eclipse can continue for months after. And because these are often turning points, the ramifications and consequences of these new beginnings can affect us not only for months, but perhaps even years afterwards. So again, shock waves, a shocking revelation, it's going to ripple out. So these are not only specific to the day of the eclipse on March 29th, 2025, but for much larger blocks of time. And remember, here's Neptune, the god of the seas, horses, earthquakes. That massive earthquake that just occurred in Thailand and in that region. And it's shocking. And yet this is what we're talking about, that it's Neptune rising. It's where the fluidity, air over water. So, and you're going to see, let me just go to that really quickly. And bear with me as I'm bouncing around with everyone, but it's important. And we'll come back to Astrology by Lauren. Remember we had this about the swords and how powerful the swords are. So Neptune rising, a noble life, a shocking revelation, this air over water. In the tarot, the suit of swords is often associated with air and the element of intellect, represents mental clarity, communication, and the power of thought, but can also signify conflict, challenges, and difficult situations. Remember, it's number 6, conflict. Let go of the conflict. We're looking and we want and desire clarity, communication, power of thought. The swords are linked to ideas, logic, and the ability to express oneself clearly. Swords can symbolize the need for clarity, honesty, and facing difficult truths. They can also represent decisive action, making choices and taking the initiative. The ace that's in the middle, the ace represents new beginnings, mental clarity, and the power to cut through confusion. The queen represents independence, self-reliance, and the ability to think critically. This isn't about the ostrich burying your head in the sand, lying to yourself, procrastinating, bartering, all negotiating. No, it's about self-reliance, independence, and clarity, critical thinking. The king, welcome Colleen, the king of swords represents authority, intellect, and the ability to make sound judgments. So again, this is not about lying to ourselves or buying into illusion and delusion and all of this, anarchy and so forth. This is about clarity. And so this Neptune rising, this moment in time, is all about coming into a great awareness with the tools, with the ability, with the clarity, the self-confidence, the initiative to move forward, to make the right decisions for ourselves. Astrology by Lauren, she continues, Mars, and how Mars is going to add fire to that sextile between Uranus and Saturn. And remember, Saturn's conjunct the North Node, retrograde Venus, retrograde Mercury, and the North Node and everything. So I mean, it's, again, this is big. This is big. This isn't lazy day playtime. This is big transformation. So Mars, the ruling planet of Aries, is still out of bounds in the sign of Cancer at the time of the eclipses, and thus beyond the field of influence of our liege, the Lord, our Sun. Free to roam and not bound by usual conventions and rules, these out-of-bound planets are virtually lawless. Left to their own devices, they answer to no one but themselves. So remember, divine masculine, Mars energy, you can have the best of the best, the purest, the highest ideal of it, and you can have its shadow. Both exist. Both can be, we can be presented with both. We are being presented with both. This free range expression can be a good thing, even for our warrior planet Mars. This is the sort of Mars that heroes are made of, courageously running into the fire instead of away from it, taking on challenges that leave us breathlessly in awe. This is about that 2007 movie where there's this individual, this mob boss that wants to control a city or control the world or a country. However, there are those that stand and fight for those that are too afraid to fight. And thus, and welcome, Sue, this is where we are. And so this Mars out of bounds in its purest, highest octave, this is the sort of Mars that heroes are made of, courageously running into the fire, protecting, defending democracy, purity, truth. Yes, Colleen is saying the resistance, instead of away from it, and taking on challenges that leave us breathlessly in awe. One would also say breathlessly inspired. Inspired, arise, emerge, become apparent, begin to occur or exist within us. And what is it? Arise, our divine, godlike nature. Because anything less than that is an illusion. It's a corruption. It's a delusion. We are sovereign, innate beings. 8 billion souls, whole and sovereign, divine, godlike in nature. We need not succumb to an illusion, to a delusion, to this kind of oppression and suppression. We can be breathlessly inspired and in awe. Lauren continues, but with its domain over the tools of war, destruction, and violence, guns, knives, sharp instruments, fire, and war, lawless and uncontained, out of bounds Mars can also be dangerous. So again, we're witnessing both aspects, the shadow and the higher ideal of Mars being out of bounds. One day after the eclipse, Neptune will enter Aries for the first time in 164 years. That occurred on March 30th. It will retrograde back into Pisces in October of 2025 for a brief period, entering Aries for the long haul in January 2026. I believe it's on 1/26/26. This doubling down, and thereby, and it's for the next 14 years, so it's going to carry us through to 2039. However, this is the shift right here. This is the shift. This is the moment. This is when everything changes. So watch in the next days and weeks, months, couple months. Watch this, a shocking revelation, this unfurling of an ancient tapestry, this major activations brought online. This is the shift right here. Lauren continues, this changes the very atmosphere we breathe, the subtle undertones to everything we do, see, hear, and believe. For Neptune is what lends meaning to our lives and imbues us with a sense of purpose. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and when major planets enter this sign, there is a resurgence of raw energy heralding a rebirth. Like an infant fresh from the womb, we become totally invested with this new life force. Neptune represents our ideals, our dreams, our aspirations for perfection. Arise, our divine, godlike nature. But it can also be about our nightmares, our vulnerabilities, and that which dispirits us with disillusionment. See, it's about the parable about the two wolves. Which wolf wins? The one you feed. So, Neptune rising, a noble life, feed that wolf, feed the higher ideals, because it represents our ideals, our dreams, and our aspirations for perfection. Feed that wolf. And when Neptune makes this all-important ingress into Aries, it dares us to consider what are those things that are worth fighting for. This is important. This is number 5, and it denotes change from the unseen. So it's here, it says the spiritual warrior, reborn, renewed, reinvented. There's a reinvention about what it means because Neptune is no longer in Pisces, which is where everything was percolating and marinating and so forth. This is where it was all of it was internal, it was within us, it's in our emotions. It's the ideal of everything we want to be. So now, number 5, the spiritual warrior, reborn, renewed, reinvented. And it was underlined and 3 exclamation points, this word reinvented. Here, Astrology by Lauren. For the spiritual warrior, Neptune in Aries does not fight against people or things. The spiritual warrior fights for them. See, we're not fighting against something, people or things. We're fighting for something. And there's a massive difference. When you align your energy in for something, in what you want, all that forward energy, all that forward momentum, we don't take our eye off the ball. And that spiritual warrior is reborn, renewed, and reinvented. It's in alignment with its soul source connection. It's true north. It's GPS. It knows where to place its focus. It's not losing sight, getting caught up in the chaos and the delusion and illusion and everything, and thereby depleting its energy, fighting a dragon that is already locked down. Its head is going to come off. Don't waste your time and energy against something, fighting against people or things. Align it, your spiritual warrior, align it, fighting for something. And this is where it's number 7 from the unseen. And I heard it's the song from Les Miserables. One more day, one day more. And so one day more from Les Miserables is a powerful ensemble number, Aquarian, We the People. It's an ensemble number that serves as the climax of Act 1. We could say in our lifetime, the ending of the Piscean patriarchal era is the climax of Act 1. Because the next act, Act 2, is all about the divine feminine, Aquarian age, these higher ideals, Neptune rising, a noble life. So it serves as the climax of Act 1, bringing together the major characters as they confront their destinies on the eve of the June rebellion, building tension and anticipation for the revolution to come. This song is a combination of several songs by different characters. The theme is that there is only one day more when things will change for everyone, and even though they all have different dreams, they are together now. So again, yin yang, Aquarian, matriarchal, it's about the harmony, the unity of divine masculine, divine feminine. It's the harmony and the unity of ego, mind, personality, human, soul, source connection, and heart, the Mazda rotary engine. Some of the lyrics to the song. One day more before the storm, Neptune. The storms over the sea, the controls over the waters, the storms. One day more, one day pardon me, one more day before the storm. Do I follow where she goes? As the barricades of freedom, shall I join my brothers there, my brothers and sisters there? When our ranks begin to form, do I stay or do I dare? Will you take your place with me? The time is now, the day is here. One day more. One day more till revolution. One day to a new beginning. Raise the flag of freedom high. Every man will be a king, a queen. There's a world for the winning. There's a world to be won. Do you hear the people sing? This is about hearing our inner calling, our inner knowing, and following it. Arise. One day more. We will join these people's heroes. We will follow where they go. See, there are those like the 2007 movie. There are those that are leading the way, that are standing up to fight. We will join these people's heroes. We will follow where they go. Tomorrow is the judgment day. Tomorrow we'll discover what our God in heaven has in store. One more dawn, one more day, one day more. This is, and again, so Neptune in Aries, the last time it was there, President Abraham Lincoln, as you know from the show last week, was elected. The abolition of slavery materialized, manifested, came to bear. It doesn't have to be a physical revolution. The spiritual warrior, reborn, renewed, reinvented. It can be a spiritual revolution just as easily. Because remember, astrology is not identical. It's cyclical in nature, but it's not identical. And so again, we can have this awakening, this baptism by fire, the Pentecost baptism by fire, these major activations brought online, brought to the fore, revelations that ripple, because the ideal becomes the new reality. All of this is moving us to that heaven on earth unity. It has always been possible and available. And now, this is the time. This is when it occurs. This is when it happens. Now, be mindful of, but there's, earth time and divine time and so forth. But there's something about, remember, we've talked about, there's something about this time. So things can change in an instant. They can change on a dime, as they would say. So again, be ready. Be ready to go. Be ready to go where you know to go. To face what you know to face. To do what you need to do. You'll know it. It will not be something outside of you. And we will watch this unfold, unfurled. We'll watch this ancient tapestry unfold before us that we're witnessing for the first time. And it will have something to do with the wind, air, over water, Neptune rising. Astrology by Lauren, she goes on, expect to see the full spectrum of Neptune in Aries over the next 13 years. The good, the bad, and some hybrid versions of it all. However, to do Neptune in Aries well, to do it justice, we all need to connect with our own inner spiritual warrior that resides deep within our heart of hearts. This is what we are being asked to do with the current retrogrades of both Mercury and Venus. See, it's about that leave no man behind, no person behind. There's the unseen, spirit, source, symphony, original intelligence, God, Allah, Buddha, the all that is. And there's Mercury and Venus. It's like they're going back, like, okay, come on, come on. It's conjunct up against with Saturn, with the North Node, the midheaven. I mean, it's all here. And we're being literally, I was going to use the word beckoned, but it's like, we'll use beckoned. We're being beckoned, called forward. It is not about going back. It is about moving forward. She goes on, Lauren goes on, when Mercury and Venus stationed for their retrograde phases, they were at the degree of the current solar eclipse. So when they stationed retrograde, they were at the same degree as the solar eclipse, the new Aries new moon solar eclipse that just occurred on the 29th of March, activating it, investing it with all that we have experienced, seen, loved, believed, and understood. As they return to Pisces, Venus on March 27th, Mercury on March 29th, they both crossed paths with Neptune, making its ingress into Aries. They then proceed to carry the light of the spiritual warrior back to the North Node in Pisces and ultimately to Saturn. Just this is what we're talking about. Here's the astrological chart, and you see all of them stacked up in Pisces at the top right, about between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock on the wheel. This is what Lauren is talking about. There is a process unfolding, unfurling that ancient tapestry. There is a process unfolding, guiding us, leading us all on this winding path. And remember, when Yahweh guided Moses and the Israelites, remember, it wasn't this direct, straight route to the land, Canaan, the land of milk and honey. It was a very winding path because we were being, in a sense, the Israelites were, and we are, we're being tested to say what's at your center. What is your authentic nature, character? Because what goes into the new, this old shadow, goo, and crud and stuff doesn't go. So if that's who you are, that's who you are. That's the experience you'll have. But at some point in time, it's the head gets lopped off. Because that does not fit. It doesn't go into the new. That is a corrupted illusion. It's shadow. So here, Venus and Mercury, they then proceeded. So they're making this ingress. They then proceeded to carry the light of the spiritual warrior back to the North Node in Pisces and ultimately to Saturn. There is a process unfolding, guiding us, leading us all on this winding path. The result being to, number one, show us who we really are. That's what I just said. Who are you at your center? And then to participate in this new world order that is emerging. The new world order is matriarchal, Aquarian, we the people, soul source connection leads. Ego, mind, personality, divine masculine, in service to, in alignment. All rotary engine, Mazda rotary engine, or a Mazda, they're all in unity and oneness. They're not like pistons operating individually. They're unified. And so again, this is a wake-up call. It's a call to action. It's a choice point. It's a decision. It's decision time. And the unseen said, make no mistake about it. This is finality, an irreversible ending. It's complete. It's done. So know that this is where we are in time. Astrology by Lauren, she goes on, as have many, she has often used the perfect alignment of these solar eclipses to sow intentions. For after all, they represent an open portal to our collective purpose. However, there are those who question the wisdom of sowing intentions with eclipses that are woven out of the fabric of chaos itself, for they are more likely to bring us unexpected outcomes. It's kind of like be careful what you wish for. What we think we want may not necessarily be what the soul needs and desires for its own growth and realization. And if indeed the fates are busy orchestrating things behind the scenes, who are we to interfere with their good, I added godly, work? And so, perhaps there is some wisdom in avoiding making intentions with an eclipse. This is about following your destiny, following your soul, not your ego, mind, personality. It does not know best. Your soul, source, original intelligence, knows best. And it is about aligning and listening to your soul, even and especially when there's fear involved and you can't see down and around the corner. It's that beautiful image of the hermit and the star. here it is, because the star in the lantern of the hermit, it only illuminates the path. I mean, a flashlight, a lantern, it only illuminates, X amount of feet before you. It is not a floodlight that shows you down and around the corner. So this is about this moment in time where we are listening to, allowing our soul to guide us, deliver us, because we're in reciprocity, and everyone on the other side of the veil is working feverishly on behalf of 8 billion souls that are incarnate on the planet Earth at this moment. And it's this reinvention of the spiritual warrior. Number 6 from the unseen is peace be with you, always and in all ways. And so it's to remember this bevy of service from the unseen, the other side of the veil, Master Jesus, God, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Allah, Buddha, all that is, however you ascribe, past loved ones, all of this choir of angels in the unseen, they're constantly, it's 6, spirit and service, they're constantly with us, guiding us, protecting us, pulling us to true north. Listen to them. Don't ignore them. Don't deny them. Don't ridicule them or ridicule them in others. Listen, follow their lead. Listen to them. Have the courage to arise to your divine, godlike nature. So, Astrology by Lauren, she continues, however, with this perfect alignment, what we do have access to is an inner understanding of the ways in which we can best fulfill the behests of the soul. It's the behests of the soul, not the behests of the ego, the mind, the personality, the human. It's the behests of the soul. Request to be led precisely where you need to be to fulfill your destiny. I say all the time to myself, I'm going to do what my soul came to do. So anything that's ego, mind, personality, human, fear-based, all of that, yes, I recognize you, I see you, I know you exist. However, I came here for a reason. I'm going to do what my soul said it came to do. That I know will far exceed and surpass anything that I could have personally chosen for myself. That's what this is talking about. It's request to be led precisely where you need to be to fulfill your destiny, and recognize that if a dream or a desire is truly meant for you, then and only then may the conditions arise to make it so. What's meant for you is meant for you. What's yours is yours. It's already there. We just arise and greet it, meet it. And always qualify your hopes and dreams with the added request that they only be fulfilled in a way that is for your highest and best and the greatest good of all concerned. It's the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. Anything that we choose, ask for, choose, request from our soul, won't intentionally harm others. It's a do no harm. These astrological events allow us to see things from a much higher perspective, opening us to higher wisdom, higher guidance, greater clarity, and greater understanding. Embrace them head on and never look back. That came from the unseen. This embrace them head on and never look back. And then I was reminded of the biblical story of Lot and Sarah, and how God directed them to not look back. Sarah looked back, and she looked back at Sodom and Gomorrah. And she was turned to a pillar of salt. So there's this aspect from the unseen of saying, embrace them head on and do not look back. And Lauren concluded with, there's a quote, it's one of our quotes, don't explain your philosophy. This is from Epictetus. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. be it. You don't need to defend it. And then she also has one from Charlotte Sophia Castle. The spiritual warrior hides from nothing. They jump into the fire. They dive into the ocean. Neptune, ocean. They become the sea. See, they become the noble life. They embody it. They are a shining example of it. We don't have to yell and scream. We don't have to defend and fight against the past. Just walk the path forward. Be it, embody it, shine your light, because there is where the magic occurs. That's in the flow. So let me give you our 2 quotes. No man is free who is not a master of themselves. So very true. This is from Epictetus. So interesting how those two, because this is from hexagram 4, Youthful Folly. And then we also have, time is perfectly spaced to hear the echo of sincerity. And we have all of these beautiful gold bells in the image. So time is perfectly spaced to hear the echo of sincerity. This is by Carrie Hone at cafeausoul.com. So again, divine time, divine measure, the divine way, the divine path. It's all within us and it's all before us. And so we have this opportunity, and I'm going to post all of the SABIAN symbols that go along with Neptune entering Aries for that event chart. So many of them speak to exactly this nature, this calling that says, with Saturn, it's a religious organization succeeds in overcoming the corrupting influence of perverted practices and materialized ideals. It's the overcoming. I succeed in overcoming. The North Node is the harvest moon illuminates a clear autumnal sky. The light of fulfillment that blesses work well done is where we're going. And so Venus retrograde, light breaking into many colors through a prism. So remember that whole piece of how there's 8 billion of us, but we become unified. And Mercury retrograde, a majestic rock formation resembling a face, is idealized by a boy who takes it as his ideal of greatness, and as he grows up begins to look like it. This one is really quite amazing because, again, in current affairs, this discussion about placing someone's face on a mountain formation. However, this talks about, again, do we, in the illusion and delusion of ourself, do we lose the plot line? This is the ending. This is the last symbol. It's the 30th degree of Pisces. Within the end of the cycle, the seed of a new beginning exists in potency, unless the entire cycle has proven to be a failure. So here we know how much greatness and goodness is available to us. This is why they're beckoning us, calling us forward, Neptune rising, a noble life, a shocking revelation. We don't need to immortalize our face on stone. That would be illusion. That would be ego, mind, personality. Again, because when we are, I am, it speaks for itself. It doesn't need to be quote unquote immortalized in that way. The midheaven, a teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images, and which is speaking about, so there's new, major activations brought online. And then Neptune and Vertex, a woman just risen from the sea. This is about new life, and it's Neptune. So it's a woman, divine feminine. So this whole awakening within us. So there's so much here, so much going on with all of these energies. So be gentle with yourselves, be gentle and kind with others. However, arise, awaken, choose a noble life. And I'm going to leave you with the question, number one from the unseen, which they asked. Are you ready for what's coming next? Shockwaves. So be ready. Cannot wait to see what happens, what they reveal to us next. Until then, be well. I love you all. Thank you so much for your presence and your energy and your comments and being on this journey with us. I cannot love you enough or thank you enough. Until next week, be well.